Hi students, today we will study about chemical control and coordination part 3. So, what is chemical control and coordination? As we all know that body functions are controlled and regulated by two neuroendocrine systems, and these systems are nervous system and endocrine system. Nervous regulation is very fast, taking only millisecond and limited to only a part of target. But hormonal regulation is a bit slower, taking a few seconds, minutes or longer, but influence all the sensitive cells of the target tissue or cell. So, the two systems, however, often operate in coordination in many cases. So, nervous system is also known to stimulate endocrine system. What is endocrine system? Endocrine system is a system of isolated glands that pour their secretions directly into venous blood or lymph for passage to different body organs in order to control their functioning, like metabolism, cell permeability, growth, differentiation and stress conditions. So endocrine system comprises endocrine glands and their hormones. It is therefore also called hormonal system. So before going through about this chapter, we briefly discuss some terminologies. Second is glands. What is gland? Gland is an organ, tissue or you can say cell that secretes a chemical for performing a particular function. And what are hormones? Hormones are chemical messengers or information molecules formed by cells of an endocrine gland. So what is the nature of hormones, or you can say what is the composition of hormones? So hormones may be amines or modified amino acids or peptides or proteins, or they can also be steroids. So the chemical nature of hormones are amines, amino acids, peptides, proteins or steroids. And what they particularly do? So they are the regulatory chemicals. Hormones are the regulatory chemicals that control and coordinate functions of different body organs. So now we go through the chapter. Here we go. First of all, hypothalamus. What is hypothalamus? It is a gland. You can see in this picture hypothalamus gland. So first point is hypothalamus is the floor of diencephalon. So hypothalamus is a portion of the brain that contains a number of small nuclei with a variety of functions. And one of the most important functions of hypothalamus is to link the nervous system to the endocrine system by the way of the pituitary gland, or you can also say it hypophysis. So you can see in this picture that hypothalamus is located below the thalamus, just above the brain stem. This is brain stem. In the terminology of neuroanatomy, it forms the ventral part of diencephalon. What is diencephalon? Actually, diencephalon, or you can also say it's interbrain or inner brain. Actually, diencephalon, or you can also say it interbrain, is the region of the brain that includes the thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, prethalamus and protectum. In development, diencephalon derives from forebrain. So the diencephalon is located near the midline of the brain. So this is just a recap of diencephalon. So hypothalamus is the floor of diencephalon and it is formed of hypothalamic nuclei containing neurosecretory cells. So floor of diencephalon has nuclei of grey matter with neurosecretory cells producing neurohormones. These neurosecretory cells produce neurohormones. It is connected with the anterior pituitary lobe by blood capillaries of hypophyseal portal system and with the posterior pituitary lobe by axon of its neurons, both passing through the pituitary stalk. So hormones are transported as neurophysin bound secretory granules through the nerve fibers, and they are distributed to the pituitary by the way of the hypophyseal portal system. Next comes hormones of hypothalamus. So hormones of hypothalamus governs emotional behavior such as anger and sexual activity. Most of the hypothalamic hormones maintains homeostasis. This includes the regulation of blood pressure, heart rate and temperature. First point is neurosecretory cells of hypothalamus secrete neurohormones called releasing factor. Neurosecretory cells of hypothalamus secretes neurohormones, and hormones stored in adenohypophysis function as releasing or inhibiting hormones. And these neurohormones are carried by hypophyseal portal system to adenohypophysis and stimulate or inhibit the release of trophic hormones from adenohypophysis or pituitary gland. And neurohormones are proteinaceous or peptide in nature. So you can better understand from this picture, this is hypothalamus gland, and the hormones secreted from this hypothalamus gland perform both function, releasing hormones or turn on, or inhibiting hormones or turn off. And these hormones stimulate the secretions of anterior pituitary gland, whether they release the secretion of this gland or whether they inhibit the secretion of the gland. And this is systematic target organs, secretions poured into the target organs or tissue. Now, neurohormones of adenohypophysis. First of all, thyroid stimulating hormone or thyrotropin releasing hormone. This increases adenocorticotropic secretion from adenohypophysis. So, this stimulates anterior pituitary to secrete thyrotropin or thyroid stimulating hormone. Next hormone is adrenocorticotropic hormone releasing factor. This increased adenocorticotropic secretion from adenohypophysis. So this stimulates anterior pituitary to secrete adrenocorticotropin or adrenocorticotropic. There is no difference between adrenocorticotropin or adrenocorticotropic hormone. Next comes somatotrophic hormone. This is also releasing factor that releases the hormone. This stimulates production of growth hormone or somatotrophic hormone by anterior pituitary. Next comes somatostatin or growth hormone inhibiting hormone. It inhibits adenohypophysis to secrete growth hormone. So it inhibits adenohypophysis to secrete growth hormone. Next comes gonadotrophic hormone. This stimulates secretion of gonadotropins by adenohypophysis, which are of two types: follicle stimulating hormone or luteinizing hormone. There may be two distinct releasing hormones: follicle stimulating releasing hormone and luteinizing hormone, that is also releasing hormone in females, and one ICSH releasing factor or interstitial cell stimulating hormone, that is releasing factor. Next come prolactin releasing hormone or lutotrophic or lactogenic hormone. The anterior pituitary is stimulated to secrete prolactin or lactogenic hormone. Next come prolactin inhibiting hormone or lutotrophic or lactogenic hormone inhibiting hormone. The hypothalamic hormone stops synthesis of lactogenic hormone inhibiting anterior pituitary. Hormone prolactin is under predominant inhibitory control through neurotransmitter dopamine. Next comes MSH or melanocyte stimulating hormone releasing factor. Releasing hormone induces intermediate pituitary to secrete melanophore stimulating hormone, MIF or melanophore inhibiting factor. The inhibiting hormone or factor stops synthesis of melanophore inhibiting factor. Next comes hypothalamo-pituitary complex. So, as we previously discussed, that the most important function of hypothalamus is to link the nervous system to the endocrine system by the way of pituitary gland. So, the hypothalamic pituitary system is a direct proof of coordination between the endocrine system and nervous system. It regulates most of the physiological activities of body and maintains homeostasis inside the body, like regulation of blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, etc. These neurosecretory cells are known to synthesize two hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin, which are stored in their axons extending in the posterior lobe of pituitary gland. So, pituitary gland is also called master endocrine gland and conductor of endocrine symphony because many of its hormones control the functioning of other endocrine glands. Actually, hypothalamus should be called master or supramaster endocrine gland, shouldn't it? So the neurosecretory cells of pituitary gland synthesize two more hormones. These are oxytocin and vasopressin. What is oxytocin? This hormone is secreted in both the male and female, but its function is documented only in females. It is also known as birth hormone because it stimulates uterine contractions during childbirth. Oxytocin is also termed as milk ejection hormone because it stimulates ejection of milk through contraction of myoepithelial cells found in alveolar secretion epithelium. Even thought, sight, cry or sound of baby can bring about secretion of this hormone in lactating mothers. But the actual secretion of milk by mammary gland is under control of prolactin. Next is vasopressin. Vasopressin is essential for reabsorption of water from nephrotic filtrate in distal convoluted tubules and collecting tubules so that urine is hypertonic and water loss from body is minimized. So this is hypothalamo pituitary complex. Next comes thyroid gland. You can see in this picture the thyroid gland. This is thyroid gland. So thyroid is the largest endocrine gland of our body. It is the largest gland with weight of about 25 gram. It is located in our neck upon the ventral aspect of larynx and a few anterior-most sacral rings. Thyroid gland is actually found in the neck. You can see in this picture, found in the neck below the thyroid cartilage. This is thyroid cartilage. The isthmus, or you can say the bridge between two lobes. This is isthmus. So isthmus is the bridge between two lobes of thyroid. You can see in this picture, this is isthmus. Isthmus is the bridge between two lobes. So isthmus is located between the two lobes. Next, under middle layer of deep cervical fascia, thyroid inner true capsule and thin and closely adherent to the gland. So thyroid gland is covered by a fibrous sheath composed of an internal and external layer. The external layer is anteriorly continuous with the fascia cervical and posterior-laterally continuous with the carotid sheath. Next, capsule extensions within the gland form septa, dividing it into lobes and lobules. So you can see that thyroid gland is H-shaped, having two lobes, and these lobes are attached by isthmus at the upper end of trachea below larynx. So it has 3 million follicles arranged in lobules and embedded in areolar connective tissue rich in blood capillaries. You can see here the picture of follicle. This is follicle. Follicles are actually the structural unit of gland, and follicle is lined by a glandular cuboidal epithelium and encloses hormone-rich semifluid called colloid. You can see in the picture, this is cartilage, this is isthmus, thyroid gland, this is trachea, and this is a longitudinal section of thyroid gland which is showing blood vessel, cuboidal epithelial cell, connective tissue, thyroxine hormone and thyroid follicle. Colloid contains an iodinated glycoprotein called iodothyoglobulin. This is a precursor of thyroid hormones. This is colloid, which is pink in staining, contains an iodinated glycoprotein called iodothyoglobulin. So, follicles secrete iodinated amino acid, that is iodothyoglobulin. Next, thyroid epithelial cells. Thyroid epithelial cells are responsible for synthesis of thyroid hormones and are arranged in the spheres called thyroid follicles. And follicles are filled with colloid apotenaceous deposition of thyroid hormone precursor. So, in addition to the thyroid epithelial cells, the thyroid gland houses one other important endocrine cell nestled in spaces between thyroid follicles are follicular cells and parafollicular or C cells. Principle of follicular cells is the place which involves in the formation of colloid, and parafollicular C cell is clear, and parafollicular C cell lie adjacent to follicles within the basal lamina and produce calcitonin. So this is about the structure of thyroid gland. Now, hormones of thyroid. Thyroid hormones is divided into two types. First one is iodinated hormones and second is non-iodinated hormones. Iodinated hormones divided into two types: thyroxine or T4 hormone, or you can also say them tetraiodothyronine, or second type is triiodothyronine. So iodinated hormones divided into two types, thyroxine and triiodothyronine, and non-iodinated hormone is divided only into one type, and it is thyrocalcitonin. First of all, thyroxine. It is an iodine containing amine hormone which is derived from tyrosine amino acid. Chemically, thyroxine is tetraiodothyronine, though also found as triiodothyronine, and secretion of thyroxine is inversely proportional to the blood level of thyroxine. So, this hormone is the iodinated form of thyronine derived from amino acid tyrosine, which is stored in follicular colloid of thyroid gland, and it is released into blood when required. That's why the secretion of thyroxine is inversely proportional to the blood level of thyroxine. Now, functions of thyroxine gland. First of all, these regulate basal metabolic rate of the body. Actually, thyroxine glands regulate basal metabolic rate of the body so as control rate of cell respiration and energy production in mitochondria, hence the temperature of life. So these control physical, mental and sexual growth of body. It is called calorigenic effect. So enhancement of BMR or basal metabolic rate results in an increase in protein synthesis in cells, rate of heartbeat, food absorption in intestine, glycogenesis, deamination and gluconeogenesis in liver cells, synthesis and actions of other hormones. So considering all these effects in totality, these hormones are necessary for healthy life and growth and development of the body. Second, Guder-Nash discovered that metamorphosis in frogs tadpole begins only when adequate amount of thyroxine is secreted. So hormone is required for tissue differentiation and metamorphosis in amphibians. In its absence or presence of antithyroid substance, tadpoles or exaltol remain in the larval stage indefinitely. Next, osmoregulation and regulation of molting in fishes, amphibians and reptiles. So it helps maintain normal body temperature. Next, it control working by renal tubules of kidneys to control urine output. Next, it helps in homeothermy in warm-blooded animals. Now, thyrocalcitonin. Next hormone is thyrocalcitonin. So it is a long peptide hormone secreted by parafollicular or C cells of thyroid gland. Its secretion is regulated by increased plasma level of calcium by feedback mechanism. So thyrocalcitonin lower calcium level in blood to normal by increasing calcium deposition in the bones. So it is hypocalcemic and hypophosphatemic peptide hormone of extrafollicular part of thyroid, which checks excess plasma calcium ion and phosphate by decreasing mobilization from bones. Deficiency of calcitonin results in osteoporosis or loss of bone density. Next comes irregularities of thyroid gland. First of all is hypothyroidism. And what is hypothyroidism? It's when the secretion is low. This is called hypothyroidism. It involves, first of all, cretinism. Hypothyroidism or deficiency in the secretion of thyroid gland in infants and children results in the disorder called cretinism, which is characterized by dwarfism, physical and mental deficiencies or underdevelopment with a peculiar infantile facial expression, pug nose, scanty hair, lower body temperature, low heart rate, low blood pressure, large head, thick legs, pot belly, pigeon chest, thick tongue, swollen eyelids, etc. Next, myxedema. Myxedema is a disorder found in adults due to hypothyroidism. The disorder is characterized by puffy appearance due to subcutaneous accumulation of interstitial fluid or edema, low basal metabolic rate and body temperature, lack of alertness, retarded sexuality and raised blood cholesterol. Myxedema caused by atrophy of thyroid called Gould's disease. Next comes Simple goiter. It is a disorder characterized by enlargement of thyroid which brings about a swelling in the neck region. Goiter is of several types: simple, endemic, colloidal, or toxic. Simple goiter is called iodine deficiency goiter and endemic goiter because it occurs in certain pockets in northern hilly areas where soil and groundwater is deficient in iodine. So, enlargement of thyroid is distress development by the body in order to rope in whatever iodine is available in the diet and produce more thyroxine. Next comes Hashimoto's disease. It occurs in middle-aged females due to sensitization of their own thyroid protein called thyroglobulin. This is mild hypothyroidism. The thyroid gland is enlarged in Hashimoto's disease. So this is the irregularities of thyroid gland due to hypothyroidism or due to low secretion of thyroid gland. Next comes hypersecretion, irregularities of thyroid gland due to hypersecretion. First of all is goiter. Goiter, as I have previously discussed, is a disorder characterized by enlargement of thyroid, which brings about a swelling in the neck region. Next comes exophthalmic goiter. Exophthalmic goiter is caused by autoimmune disorder in which antibodies are produced with mimic thyroid stimulating hormone. Feedback system fails, therefore there is oversecretion of thyroxine. Thyroid may swell up, edema occurs behind the eyes resulting in protrusion of eyes or exophthalmia. Other traits are high BMR, accelerated oxidation of food, increased appetite accompanied by leanness, increased heartbeat, faster pulse, higher blood temperature, excessive sweating, restlessness, nervousness, dizziness, little sleep, etc. So both exophthalmia and myxedema are more common in females. Next comes Graves' disease. This is a exophthalmic disease which includes excessive sweating, restlessness, nervousness, dizziness, little sleep and fine tremor in stretched hands. Next comes Plummer's disease. Plummer disease is also caused due to hypersecretion of thyroid gland.